Hi, I'm Carrie, and I'm your Jamberry Nails Independent Consultant. I'm so glad you came today, and I'm going to show you how you can apply your Jamberry nail wraps and get a flawless application. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks because you know what? Everybody's nails are different, and something that works for me might not work for you, and something that works for you might not work for me. So we're going to show you some different ways to do it, okay? I'm going to do my best. And if at the end you still have questions or you're not sure or it's not working for you, let me know. I'm so happy to help. Okay, so here we go. Today I'm going to apply this sheet of nail wraps. Now you're going to get 2 manis and 2 petties out of 1 sheet of nail wraps. Check these out. This is called Lovebird, and they are Valentine nail wraps. I love them. They're so soft and cute and pink. What you're going to need to apply your nails is a file, a coarse file, a wooden stick, orange stick, that's what they're called, a pair of nail scissors, a glass file to finish it, and that's it. By now, you've already seen my other video and you know how to prep your nails, and you know that that's the most important part of applying your wraps. I swear that if you don't have a beautiful nail prep, you're not gonna have a beautiful manicure. It really is the thing that you need to spend the most time on. So I've already prepped my nails, and now I'm gonna show you how to apply them. Oh yeah, one more really cool tool that will help. A heat source. I'm using our Jamberry mini heater, which is plugged into the wall over there, so when I move the camera, I'll show you. And I love it because it sets up, I don't have to hold it, it's sitting there on the table. Hands-free, hands-free. All right, here we go, ladies. I've got my mini heater over here. Again, it's plugged into the wall, so it's a little bit out of sight, but it's there. And the tools that I just showed you, most of them are from our deluxe toolkit, which is this really cool faux leather case with a magnetic clasp. And that comes with cuticle nippers, a clippers, a pair of scissors, the glass file, and our cuticle pusher. Okay, so it's a really great set, totally worth the money. The tools are high quality, and they even say Jamberry on them. So here we go. So I've got my sheet here, and the first thing I'm going to do is measure out which wrap is going to fit my nail. Now when you're doing this, you want to make sure that it's a little bit, the wrap that you pick is a little bit smaller than your nail, because you don't want it to touch the skin on the sides of your nail, okay? So this is my pinky nail. We're going to start with that one. I already know that this one fits, okay? And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it. So this is the way that I cut it. You can take the whole wrap off if you want. One wrap is going to do 2 nails for you. So you can take the whole wrap off the sheet if you want. This just happens to be how I do it, because I tell myself that I will use the middle piece for an accent at some point, but in truth, that didn't really happen. Okay, so you just take it off the sheet. Now it's got plastic on the back of it. So I'm going to take my orange wood stick, and I am going to lift up the end, because the thing is, you do not want to touch your wrap with your fingers, because you've got all sorts of oils and things on your fingers, and you don't want that touching the adhesive. So see, I just slid it under there, and now I'm pulling away the plastic part. So now I have it on the end of my orange wood stick. So Jamberry's instructions tell you to heat your wrap first. I like to not heat my wrap first, because then I can get it just perfect on my nail. So if you have a little bit of OCD, that might be the way to do it. That heater's really hot. So here you go, you just place it on your nail like so, kind of roll that out. And I'm just going to grab the little end of my wrap where that's not going to be adhered to my nail. And I'm going to make sure that it's centered the way that I like it. And again, you're going to leave a little tiny gap on either side and at the bottom. Nobody's going to see that when you've got your wraps on. So now it's just sitting there, and I'm going to take my heater and I'm going to give it a blast of heat for a second or two. And I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to push down from cuticle to tip. Just apply some pressure there from cuticle to tip. Then I'm going to take my heater and I'm going to blast the side of it with heat. And I'm going to do the same thing from the center to the side I just heated. I'm going to apply pressure. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So this method is called the 1, 2, 3 method because you heat, push once, heat twice, heat 3 times. So that method is called the 1, 2, 3 method. And it is the preferred method by Jamberry, and I totally agree that it is one of the best methods to do. So then I'm just going to take my scissors. What I'm doing is I'm just cutting the excess off. It doesn't have to be perfect to the end of your nail because what's going to happen next is that you're going to file the end of it. And you're going to file the excess off of your nail, and it's going to roll right off. Now I want to show you one other little tip. I'm going to do my other nail before I file this off. I'm going to do my ring finger. So now you'll see my nails are kind of rounded and curved, right? So if you try to imagine you have a baseball and you try to wrap a square sticker around a baseball, what's going to happen? You're going to get these little puckers and dents on the sides of it because you can't wrap a square thing around a round thing, right? So here's a little tip that I love for my curved nails. Now if you have flat nails, you probably don't need to do this. But for me, I find it to be really helpful. Now this is called, ironically, or maybe not ironically, the baseball method. So I'm going to do the same thing. I measured my wrap. I'm going to take my wrap right here and watch what I'm going to do. I am going to put a little tiny slit in the side on the bottom. Now, the typical baseball method tells you to make a little tiny V. I find that the slit works just fine. Some people have curvier nails than I do, so they might want to make the V. And if you were to make the V, I'll show you, like barely. You barely make it, and you can't see that it's cut out there. Just a tiny, tiny little slit. Okay. Okay. So now you've got your slits in the bottom of it, and here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take this off here, and I'm going to apply it to my nail, just like we did with the pinky. The rest of the method is exactly the same. But I want to show you what it looks like at the end. So again, we're going to place it on the nail, center it how we want it, make sure that there's a little gap on the end, on the sides. See that? There's a little gap. Take my heat, blast for a second or two, pressure 1, on the side, pressure 2, and on the other side, pressure 3. Okay, and I'm going to cut that excess off again. So I recommend that you do your whole nail before you file, because you don't want to file your nail wraps when they're warm, because you're not going to get a very good file when you do that. So tell me, do you see slits? Let's see if we can focus in. Do you see slits in that baby? You really can't see it. It's amazing. And that's how you do it. And now I'm going to finish my manicure, and I'm going to file off the tips. Let me show you how to file off the tips. So you're going to do a 90-degree angle. One direction, 90-degree angle. I'm going to back away from the camera a little bit just because I know sometimes people don't like that noise. All right. Again, 90-degree angle, one direction, all the way around. And what happens is the excess wrap kind of rolls off with the filing. Get really good in the corners, see? Let's see a little piece on my nail there. So that's it. Okay, and then I'm just going to give it another blast of heat and just press down a little bit just to make sure it's secure. And I've got this little tiny piece on the end of my pinky here. It's right in the corner, hard to get. So there you go, okay? So that's, I filed with the black file. Now, if you do the sweater test, which is scratch your sweater, scratch your shirt, right? You might feel like it's snaggy. So here comes my glass file. My glass file, I'm gonna take and I'm going to file at a 45-degree angle on the tips. This is going to make your tips so smooth that you won't have those snags. Because I know some people get really annoyed. I get really annoyed. I hate it when my nails snag like that. Especially if you have long hair and you try to run your fingers through your hair. Now look, nothing. No snags. It's awesome. Okay? And there you go. So I'm going to finish up my Jamberry and I will talk to you later. Thanks for joining me, and I hope these tips help. And again, if you have any questions, find me at Carrie Pottle Can all over social media. Bye! And here's a bonus tip. Remember that cuticle pusher that I showed you earlier in our prep video? Well, you can use the spoon part to also help you smooth down your wraps. Here's what you do. You take the spoon of your cuticle spoon pusher and you hold it against the heat of the heater, and now you've got a hot pusher, and then you just use that to seal your tips and make sure that it's smooth and that the adhesive is really activated. Who doesn't love a bonus tip?